All right. Hey, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Site Review Tuesday. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. My computer, again, is doing some weird stuff. So, guys, let me know if you can hear me or if I'm just moving my mouth and no sound is coming out, because that would be super awkward. Anyway, welcome to Site Review Tuesday. If this is your first time hanging out with us, I do want to let you know how things work. So we're going to review 3 websites today. Each site is going to get 15 minutes per review. The third and final site is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us in the live chat audience. So if you haven't submitted your site yet to be reviewed, that link, if you're on YouTube, is going to be in the description below the video. If you're hanging out on Zoom, Dennis is going to throw that link out for you guys in the chat here in just a second. To get things started, usually I ask for a number from 1 to, looks like it's going to be 112 today. So either on Zoom or YouTube, the first person I see throw a number out in the chat, 100 or 1 through 112, that's going to be the first site that we review. Looks like Zoom claimed it with Terry for 94, so that'll be our first site. So YouTube, I'll come back to you guys for the second site to be reviewed. Let me say hi to some of you guys who are hanging out with us on Zoom. We've got Brandy, Dominique, Eduardo, Stan, and Terry. And on YouTube, we got Corey Woods, Lynn, Janet, and Michael B, Stephanie, and Robert. So thank you guys for jumping on here and hanging out with us. Some quick announcements really quick. First of all, hanging out with you guys today, taking care of you guys in chat. I've got Dennis. Katie is actually out on some well-deserved vacation time. So Dennis volunteered to jump on here and hang out with me this Tuesday. So make sure you guys show him some love. Usually he hangs out with me on Zenfolio Live on Thursdays, but he was kind enough to hop on here and I really appreciate it. So make sure that you guys show Dennis some love. As for announcements today, I've got a couple of them. So first of all, this Thursday on Zenfolio Live, we're going to have the amazing and talented Lou Freeman hang out with us. We're going to be talking about staying true to yourself while evolving your photography business. So it's going to be a really cool live stream to check out. If you're not familiar with Lou Freeman, make sure that you go do a quick search for her work. She's done some pretty amazing stuff, including a lot of fashion work, lots of different things. So if you're not familiar, make sure that you go check out her work. It is phenomenal. This Wednesday, super excited about this one as well. This Wednesday on our Facebook page, we're going to be doing our very first ever Wide Angle Wednesday. That's happening on Zenfolio's Facebook page. You can register for that. So if you want to register for that, the link to register for that is on the description below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, in Zoom, Dennis is going to be throwing the link for that out in chat for you guys to register for that. What is Wide Angle Wednesday? Well, it's where we're going to do a round panel discussion. We're going to have some pretty amazing photographers hang out with us. Jeff Cable, Laura Greer, Evan Chung, and then John Ostrom from our customer success support team is going to be hanging out with us. We're going to do a roundtable discussion. We're going to have some questions. Everybody's going to get 2 minutes to answer this question. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of good information there. So make sure that you come check that out. Also, if you haven't bookmarked this page yet, you need to go to zenfolio.com/community/events and bookmark that page. That is where you can see all of the upcoming live streams, all of the upcoming group training, and everything that's going to come up or going on through Zenfolio, whether it's group training, live streams, and all of that. You can actually register for the events there as well. And then a couple more announcements. We are encouraging you guys to continue to share your photos. Make sure that you're sharing images. You're using them to brighten up social media feeds, to kind of inspire other people, other photographers. And when you're doing that, use that hashtag Zenfolio Photographers for a chance to be featured on either one of our live stream intros or on our social media platform. And speaking of intros, I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but I ran the same intro that I ran last week. That's because I'm having some complications with my video editing software that I'm trying to get squared away, and I didn't have time to get that intro edited to the most recent version. All right, one more announcement, and then I'm going to jump into the live site reviews. And this one kind of makes me a little sad, but this week is the last episode of Site Review Tuesday. So we are putting our focus on some other projects. We're not completely doing away with site reviews. We're going to start doing those once a month or something like that on Zenfolio Live. But this is the last episode of Site Review Tuesday. And just to kind of give you some quick history, we've put out there, we've had 80 episodes of Site Review Tuesday since we started this in March of 2019. And we've reviewed over 160 individual websites completely live since we started doing this. So again, we're not completely doing away with site reviews. We're just going to kind of put them in with Zenfolio Live, maybe do it like once a month or something like that. So there'll still be site reviews going on. It's just not going to happen every single Tuesday. But I do want to say thank you guys to everybody who submitted their site to be reviewed. Thank you to all of you guys who hung out with me week after week. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You got some good information, and then hopefully it was just, I just want to say I really appreciate all of you guys who hung out with us for those. Okay, that is it for announcements. And I know some of you guys are sad. I see 410 Aerial Photography in the chat. Again, we're going to keep doing site reviews. We're just going to do it on Zenfolio Live. We're not going to do it every single week. It'll be like once a month or something like that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started with the site review. So the first number that I saw in chat was from Terry. So that was site number 94. So let me get site 94 pulled up here for you guys really quick. And we'll get 15 minutes up on my review clock, and we'll get this started. So site number 94, let me kind of get it resized in here. This is John, is it LowryPhotography.com. Let me just kind of copy this. I'll throw that link out in the chat for you guys there on YouTube, and also I'll throw it here on Zoom for you guys to go ahead and check that out. We're going to get 15 minutes up on the review clock here. So let me drag that up, and we'll go ahead and just get this review started. Okay, so starting out here on the homepage, really cool logo. I love this kind of interesting take on the camera. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like maybe you've kind of worked in your initials into the camera on that like logo design. So I think that's really cool. This is a really nice, clean design. Let me get this timer out of the way so it doesn't take up so much space. There we go. This is a really nice, clean design. Lots of good information here. Now, one of the things you guys can't see, let me bring this down and hover over it. I want to know what information we have up here in our header bar. So we have John Lowry Photography, Columbia, South Carolina, portrait photographer. So that is amazing. Up here in this is your website title. And this is one of those settings that usually we set up at the very beginning whenever we're creating our Zenfolio account. And we don't really think about going back and changing this. And this is super important for your SEO, not so much as it showing up here, but how it shows in Google search results. So John, I think you've done a great job with that. You actually added some information in there that was helpful. So nice job there. Just kind of moving down. I love the logo. Also right here again, photography service serves Columbia, South Carolina, the surrounding regions. We specialize in portrait art, including headshots, couples engagement, senior family, pet photography. We work in studio or on location to create cherished memories. And then a phone number down here. So a couple of things that you've done on this homepage right away that is amazing that I really want you guys to catch and pay attention to is that right away, without having to look for it, without having to search for it, we know right away what type of photography John's doing, what location he's offering his services in. Also, he mentions that he shoots in studio or on location, and he gives us his contact information. So before I, as a visitor, knowing nothing about John, his business or anything like that, before I even have to try and figure out, like, is this somebody I can hire? Do they service my area? Do they offer the type of photography that I'm looking for? How can I contact them? He has answered that question right out the gate. So really great job with the welcome message here as well. Now, I am noticing that there's only a single image here on the homepage. I think this is a really strong single image for the type of photography that you talk about that you do here. However, you could set up and have a slideshow going. You could set up and have a photo strip going where kind of people can interact with your homepage. Not that there's anything wrong with this single image. I think that it's a nice, strong image for the type of photography that you're talking about doing. And also you have all of your social media and stuff hooked up here, which is nice as well. Okay, John, let's go ahead and move forward and check out your portfolio. So we're going to hover over your drop down. Bonus points for setting up that drop down here. You guys, if you've hung out with me on mini site review Tuesdays, you have seen me talk about site navigation. You've probably seen me spend minutes upon minutes talking about site navigation and how important it is. Drop downs are so important because we want to make sure that it's as easy and as fit and efficient as possible, as efficient, not inefficient. So we want to make sure it's as easy and as efficient as possible for our visitors to get to the content that they're looking for and that we want them to see. And in this case, that being the portfolio here. So that drop down helps us do that. Now, right out the gate, John already said that he was a headshot photographer, and then his first site menu item under his portfolio is headshots and branding. So I want you guys to catch that as well. He's putting himself out there. He's saying he's a portrait or a headshot photographer, a portrait photographer, and right out the gate, that's what he's starting out with in his portfolio as well. So really strong start here. As well, let's take a look right here at the title of the gallery, right? So this is a gallery that we're looking at. This is the gallery title. And you guys hear me talk about this a lot as well. Is, usually we'll title it something like, oh, this is my headshots, or this is weddings or whatever. And I always mention, put a little bit more information in here. And John said business headshot and branding photography. Now you could add something like business headshot and branding photography portfolio, Columbia, South Carolina in there, or something like that. Just a little bit of extra information in there can really go a long way. But the next thing we're coming to right here is that he's utilizing this gallery caption, right? And so this is super powerful because this gives you some additional information that you can convey to your visitors. Right now, without even reading it, I'm looking at his headshot rate is 150 for 2 images with basic retouching. So right now, I know, is this my photographer? Is this even in my budget? If it is, it's telling me right here out the gate if this is in my budget or not. So I love that. I think that is great. And then right here, a nice strong call to action. For more information, schedule your headshot session right here. So really great use of the gallery caption right here. Really nice use of that. A couple of things here. We do have the select photos button and the slideshow button. Not that I think there's anything wrong with the slideshow button. The select photos button, what is somebody going to do with your portfolio images when they hit select photos? So that tells me that there's possibly the favorites option on. And if there's a reason why you have the favorite options on, John, on your portfolio, then that's perfectly fine. One of the things I always say is that if you know it's on and it's on intentionally and you have a reason for it being there, that is totally fine. I just like to caution people, these are one of those things where it might be a global setting and you might not necessarily want the select photos and the favorite option to be on in your portfolio gallery. And in that case, you might want to go into that individual gallery and customize it so that that option's not there. Because if we hit select photos, let's see what options we have to do after we select our images. Okay, so we have selected photos, and really the only option that we have is to go back up here and add to favorites. Now again, if you have a very specific reason why this is on in your portfolio gallery, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you want potential clients to say, hey, I like this pose, I want to add it to my favorite set. Hey, I like this location, I want to add it into my favorite set. But keep in mind that favorites do require clients to create an account. And so if you take a step back and you put yourself into the shoes of somebody who knows nothing about your work, knows nothing about your business, knows nothing about navigating your website, and now they're in here looking at your headshot portfolio because they're interested in having a headshot, and they see select photos and they do this, and they're kind of just playing around trying to figure out why they would select photos, and then they go to add favorites. This could be a real point of confusion for them, right? And so we don't really want people playing around with this unless it's super intentional and you have a specific reason for that's there. So I would probably consider turning that option off in your portfolio galleries at least, and then going and setting that select photos button to actually hide on just the portfolio galleries. Okay, let's scroll down here. Also, a couple of things too, hovering over the image, the favorites icon is showing up. Again, whenever we click that, it prompts us to create an account. Put yourself in a visitor's shoes, is that going to cause some confusion? Is that something that would be better turned off, at least for this gallery? Also, there is the sequence number right up here. Just keep in mind the sequence number is not tied to a specific image. It is tied to that image's location in the gallery. And so, I mean, it's not a big deal on portfolio galleries. I definitely think the less you have on here, the better. So these things can kind of be confusing. But if you ever reorganize your gallery, just keep in mind an image that would show number 1 up here might now be like image number 3 because it's tied to the position in the gallery. So usually I opt to turn those sequence numbers off. All right, let's go down here. So really nice, clean setup. I love the way everything's looking so far. One of the things I would definitely recommend is let's get the categories and keywords showing. Hopefully you've keyworded your images in like Lightroom or something like that. Let's go ahead and get the categories and keywords showing. Let's make sure that that shows down here. That way, if you've taken the time to keyword your images, then it's actually going to show up to Google and they can help recommend your site and give you better search rankings as long as those categories and keywords are showing. All right. Beautiful images, really beautiful headshots. And I think, so there's there's 6 images here. I mean, I think that that's perfectly fine. You could definitely go with maybe adding a couple of more images, but definitely I would not go any less. I wouldn't go crazy. Usually I recommend 10 to maybe 20 at the very most of your best images for that particular genre. 6 is definitely a fine number to stop at. You could add 1 or 2 more if you wanted to, but I think these are some really great images. Okay, let's keep moving on. Let's check out the rest of your portfolio. All right, and this is couples and engagements. So same thing up here, maybe adding a little bit more information into the title of the gallery. Down here, you do mention in surrounding regions. For more information and booking, contact me. A couple of things that you could add here as well if you're looking for information to add into that gallery caption, right? Specific locations, landmark locations in your area where people like having their photos taken, right? Think about it, because when people are having their photos taken, seniors, couples, families, whatever, and they're sharing it on Facebook, they are probably sharing, hey, we had our photos done at blah, blah, blah park or whatever. And so you could definitely mention some of those specific locations of maybe some of your favorite places to do family portraits are at, I don't know, Bass Lake, or maybe whatever the reservoir downtown, or whatever specific locations there are. You can definitely mention those locations in your gallery caption. And again, that's going to be helpful as well. Really strong images, definitely beautiful. I love your style. So again, maybe a couple more images could go here, but again, I find seeing enough to really get a sense of your style, of your skill set. And so I'm not really wanting more. I think that this is perfectly fine, but I think you could definitely add a couple more, as well as get your keywords and categories on here as well. All right. Hey, Michael B in YouTube says, where do we turn the favorites option off at? That is going to be depending on where you're wanting to do it. If you're just wanting to turn it off in an individual gallery, you can go in and actually customize the individual gallery. So I believe Dennis is throwing something in there in chat for you now to check out, but you can definitely go in and turn it off on an individual gallery. Okay, let's go check out one more portfolio. I got a feeling that probably most of these are going to be pretty consistent. Again, right up here, really nice use of the caption for more information here. And then just absolutely fantastic, beautiful images, just beautiful photos. Definitely, I would get on that categories and keywords, get that showing down here. That's going to help with your traffic, but beautiful photos. Let's click on one really quick to see how these are opening up. All right, so these are opening up in dim the lights mode, which is great. I love that look for a portfolio. I think it's great. Let's check out your client galleries really quick. Now, this is always something that I go back and forth about showing client galleries on your website, making them publicly accessible. If this is the way that you do it, I think that it's fine. You just have to keep in mind that if you shoot any sensitive subject matter, such as kids, boudoir photography, or anything like that, even if you're password protecting your images, you're always going to have people who try to get in places that they shouldn't be. And so you definitely want to be careful showing your client galleries publicly like that. Obviously, Zenfolio's password protection is very secure. Nobody can sit there and hack and try to get into it. If they enter the wrong password a couple of times, their IP is blocked for an undisclosed amount of time, and you are notified when those kind of things happen as well. So the security on the site is top notch. You don't need to worry about that. It's just more of a matter of your clients, making your clients feel safe and secure. So I'm not going to click into any client galleries. We've only got about 2 minutes left. So you guys in YouTube, since Zoom got the first number, you guys on YouTube, throw a number out in the chat. Let's go 212 to 305, it looks like is the other number. So you guys on YouTube, throw a number out in chat for me for that. That'll be the next site that we review. Here we are checking out John's blog. Oh, it looks like the last time you blogged was October 19th, 2019. John, I would definitely recommend that you get some recent blog posts going, or come in here and hide your blog post date. In here, the last thing that you really want to happen is for somebody to jump in here, check out your blog, and then be like, whoa, they haven't put up a post since it's almost been a year since your last post. And so you want to think about these blog posts as you showing people that you're still active, that you're still relevant, that you're still alive, that you're still out there doing work. And so you want to make sure that you update that blog. I would say at a very minimum, you might want to do it at a very minimum, at least once a month. Most experts will recommend once a week, but once a month is the minimum that I would recommend. Let's check out your about page really quick. We've only got like 54 seconds. All right, so nice. Again, as a self-proclaimed headshot photographer, definitely having a nice, strong headshot on your about page is a must. So I think that this is a nice headshot. I love that you have just a headshot image of yourself, and you talk about yourself a little bit over here. Let's see. So I think this is fine. I mean, I would definitely love to see some personal insights, maybe some client quotes, kind of give us a sense of what it's like working with you, maybe a little bit of your personality, what type of music you're in, something like that, something to let us connect with you on a personal level. Now that we've seen your information, now that we've seen your images, we know that you're a great photographer. Are we going to get along with you and enjoy working with you? And that's the question that the about page really should answer, in my opinion. Like 4 seconds left. Let me check the contact page really quick. Okay, and this is going to be the built-in contact page. I think that that's perfectly fine to use. Super simple. It's there. It's nice and easy. So nice job there having that set up. All right. So overall, John, I think you got a great site, really strong start, really nicely set up. The navigation was really smooth and easy. It wasn't overwhelming. As we were going through the pages, everything stayed super, super consistent. So great job there with that. The biggest thing that I saw was maybe a couple of those portfolios, as Lynn is saying, maybe a few more images. Maybe a few more images in there to give a little bit better of a perspective. Definitely getting the keywords categories showing, because that's just going to do nothing but help you with your site traffic. Those are the few things that I would work on. And then after that, maybe circle back around and look at those favorites options and that select photos option in your portfolio gallery. Also the blog as well, maybe getting an updated blog post in there would be nice to have, or maybe getting a couple of blog posts scheduled would be nice as well. All right, let's see. Who got the next one? So Michael B on YouTube threw out 248. Great job, Michael. Thanks for throwing that out there. Let me go grab website 248 and see what site that's going to be. All right. And guys, the next site after this one is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us live. So I know Dennis has been throwing the link in the chat for you guys. If you haven't submitted your site, or if you have submitted your site in the past and it didn't get selected for review, go ahead and resubmit it. Again, unfortunately, this is the last episode of Site Review Tuesday. We're going to keep doing them on Zenfolio Live. It's just going to be more like a once a month kind of thing rather than every week. But if you haven't had your site reviewed yet, make sure you get it submitted, because the next site that we review after this one is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us. All right. Michael B with number 248. 248 looks like it's going to be in Gregerson. I can't pronounce the name right, but we're going to go with Georgeson Photography. Let me grab this and get this link just thrown over here. And then I'll also throw that link out in chat for you guys as well. All right. So let me throw it out here. There we go. Let me throw it out on YouTube for you guys. We'll get this site pulled up. You guys, let me know in chat if I even came close to pronouncing that right. Somebody spell it out for me. Maybe I can pronounce it right if somebody helps me out. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get 15 minutes up on the clock. We're going to get this review started. Drag the little clock up right here. And there we go. All right, so starting out right here, really cool logo, super interesting. I like the logo. Seeing so far, it looks like everybody's going with kind of today, at least, we've kind of had some left sidebar layouts going on, which is pretty cool. It's nice to kind of see that to break things up. So that's nice. Let's go ahead and just take a look at this. So commercial, editorial, PR, headshot photographer based in Edinburgh, covering Glasgow and the rest of central Scotland, over 15 years of experience working with writing. Okay, so this is really cool. And then right here, it looks like we have a hot link that we can click on right here. So really cool having that set up. Let me just pull the timer down here out of the way. There we go. Really cool having that set up. Let's see where this goes since we're just down here looking at it. All right, so that goes right to the contact page. Nicely done. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go back up here. Let's just start off with your site menu over here. Let's go check out your PR images. All right. And so one thing I do want to point out here is that it looks like you are kind of utilizing a different site menu item for every single portfolio that you have. Now, not that there's anything wrong with that, because it looks like you have a fairly well thought out site menu, but as you add things to your site menu, as you add more pages, as you add different things, some of these site menu items, when the window gets resized, can get lost. So if I'm kind of moving this down, right, some of the things can start disappearing as we make the menu smaller. So that is something to keep in mind. That is why I kind of prefer the drop downs. The other thing as well is that site menus, when they're really busy like this, can seem a little overwhelming to visitors. Think about the last time you were searching for a service. Maybe you went to, who knows, maybe you were looking to hire a roofer, my Oklahoma came out again. Maybe you're looking to hire a construction service or something like that. Think about the websites that you visited. Think about the websites that you've looked at. And at times, did you feel a little overwhelmed? Were there a lot of options and you were just kind of trying to figure out which option was the right one for you? Think about how you can take your site menu and condense it and make it not so overwhelming feeling, right? So when we go to a website and we see there's 10 different options versus there's maybe 3 or 4 options, even if one of those options is a nice little category breakdown, it can really be a little bit more digestible for your site visitors, especially when they're interacting for the first time. So maybe you could take this PR, portraits, editorial, all of these, and turn it into a portfolio drop down. Or examples drop down, something like that. And then you would only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 site menu items, and it would be a lot easier to digest that way. So just something to think about. Okay, so starting here at the top, we have commercial and PR. Would love to see a little bit more information in that gallery title. Again, specific location is super helpful. Now, I do see that you have a link here in your caption that kind of says get in touch for your PR campaigns and check availability. I'm assuming that's probably going to go to the contact page. I think here you could definitely add some more information to this caption, right? Maybe talk about the specific services that you offer. Do you offer day rates for covering these kinds of events? Do you offer half day rates? Do you have multiple photographers? Is it you? Any little bit of information that you can put in there is going to be helpful, especially for people looking to hire photographers. The less they have to search for information and the more you're showing them, hey, I do this so well that I know the questions that you have and are afraid to ask, or that you don't feel like having to research for, and I'm going to answer them for you right here. All right. That is something that you could definitely use this gallery caption for. Beautiful photos, absolutely gorgeous photos. Just take a look really quick. You guys can't see it. If I slide this over, the site menu or the little scroll bar is rather small. So what that tells me is that there is a lot of photos in here. Okay. And so what I would recommend is, it's going to be more work on your part, but it is the benefit that you're going to get from it is going to be well worth it. All right. Because it looks like you cover a series of different types of live events, whether they're fundraisers, whether they're like suit and tie events, whether they're red carpet events, business openings. It looks like you cover a lot of different things. And so what you could do is you could definitely break these up into different galleries, different portfolio galleries, and really talk on each specific type of event. Mention the types of services that you offer for business openings. You can come in and photograph the whole event, provide prints, or whatever, mention those types of services. So the more galleries that you can break that up into, the more pages your website has with dedicated information for that type of photography that you can then add more keywords to, you can add a caption to, and then you could turn that into a drop down. And so you could have PR as a drop down. And when they hover over that, now they're seeing business openings, suit and tie events, red carpet events, or whatever else. And those are all more pages to kind of extend your net to get traffic to come to your site, right? That is the goal really of your website to begin with, is to be a net that you're throwing out there to catch potential clients. The more pages you can create with the more relevant information on there, the larger your net is. And with a larger net, you catch more fish, right? And so that's something to think about. I know this is kind of the easy way to do it, but you could take some time and definitely break this up into different categories and write a little bit about each one in the caption in the gallery there. Okay, moving on to portraits. Let's go over here. So it's kind of the same setup here. Beautiful, beautiful portraits though. Wow. Absolutely beautiful portraits. And so here's a question for you guys in the chat. Where do you draw the line? What separates a portrait session from a headshot session? Just curious, want to get some feedback from you guys in chat. How do you define the difference between a portrait session and a headshot session? Because for me, some of these images look more like headshots than portrait sessions, but maybe that's just because of my particular definition. So curious what you guys think about that in chat. I definitely think that you could take this up and break this again into the different types of portrait sessions that you do, whether it's environmental or corporate or studio headshots or something like that. Again, with the whole idea being of creating a larger net, more pages with more relevant information. Okay, same type of feedback. You could definitely add more information into the title, add more information into the caption up here, and then kind of scrolling down, let's see if there are categories and keywords showing. There are categories and keywords showing right here. So let's just take a look really quick. Nice job here. We've got people, profession, and lots of keywords in here. Really nice job on the keywords. So good stuff there. Great stuff to have in there. All right, let's go check out your editorial. Okay, looking at the editorial, so far everything is looking really nice and clean. I do want to comment too on your theme and your design up here. I really love the way that you've kind of created this logo. You have it setting up here. Your site is super clean, super consistent. And I love that you've incorporated this gray bar that includes that color from the eye. So that's just a really nice touch. It works really well. And then your site, the whole design, everything is super clean. And I really, really like the way it looks. Nice job there. Okay, so let's see. Again, this is editorial. Now, one thing that is funny is I clicked on editorial and then I see photojournalism. Not that it's a big thing or anything like that. I think it's okay. Again, just adding more information to the title, to the caption. But let's take a look here really quick. This is, I mean, some absolutely outstanding images, just some beautiful, beautiful images. And again, I definitely see where you can take these and break them up into different kind of subcategories, again, to create that larger net. But just beautiful, beautiful images, just fantastic. And the other reason why I'm mentioning that is because there is a lot of work in here. As you can see how small the scroll bar is, there's just a ton of work that's in here. And so if your visitor has a slow, oh, nice. Nice. If your visitor has a slow internet connection, they might be seeing a little bit of this for the first time, and that could get a little frustrating as well. So breaking these up, having a little fewer images in the gallery, making it a little bit more digestible, letting us get to exactly the type of work that we're looking and interested in hiring you for, and seeing the best examples of exactly that type of work is going to be beneficial as well. But there's a lot to scroll through. Man, okay, it took me a while to get to the bottom, but down here it looks like you do have categories and keywords on here as well. So nice job there. Really nicely done. Let's go back up here and let's keep looking. Restaurant. All right. And I think I'm going to have like this pretty much the same type of feedback. We've got restaurant and food, get in touch, which again, thanks for, I mean, it's great that you have this in here. Let's utilize that caption a little bit more. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful photos. Just super strong work. Just really impressive work. Absolutely gorgeous work. I have not been out to eat in quite a while. This is definitely making me want some Thai food or something. I've been cooking dinner in the house for the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 months, and definitely ready for some restaurant food. Let's check out your wedding portfolio. All right. Oh, super cool. Love the kilt shots. Very nice. Just really strong work. Absolutely beautiful photos. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And everything, and so far, everything is really consistent. So nice job having everything set up and super consistent. The colors, the layout, everything is really consistent as we go page to page, including your work. Your work is super consistent, really strong. I would just definitely, again, think about adding more information to these sections and breaking some of these up, and then utilizing your drop down to kind of condense these site menu items together, making it a more easier to navigate and digestible experience. Let's go check out your client's voice. This is an interesting title. Okay, so this one says from Hollywood PR. Okay, nice. So this looks like it is a custom page. Really cool. If you guys didn't know, you can go to whitegoldphotography.com. That is an actual Zenfolio. And let me just throw that in the chat for you guys. whitegoldphotography.com. That is an actual Zenfolio demo site. And this little section that you see right here, this client's voice, this is a custom page, and there's actually a template. Testimonials right here. I'll throw this in the chat for you guys. There's actually a template that you can copy this template right down here and recreate this custom page for your client testimonials. And then you just have to update the information with your information. So I'm going to throw that in the chat. It's a really simple to do. If you haven't played around with custom pages yet, you definitely want to check those out. A lot of things you can do with custom pages, and this is a really nice use of them right here. And again, I love that you are conscious of your branding colors. So right here, we have this highlight going on, and right up here, that's a green color from the logo. So really nicely done, really good attention to detail. Would love to see, oh, check it out. So not sure what happened there, if maybe this site is out or if there's something going on with the link. But I was trying to click on that because it looked like it was clickable to take me to maybe the website to maybe see your work, but something's up with the link here, so you might want to check that out. Would also maybe like to add some of the images here that you took for that particular client. So let's go take a look at this one. Maybe we can see it here. Nice. Okay, cool. So that actually goes to the page. So nice setup. Really cool. And you guys don't notice this, but I'll pull this down so you can see it. You have this set up the way it should work. So anytime you have a site that is opening up a link that's going to a page outside of your Zenfolio site, this is how you want to have it set up to open in a new tab, because the last thing that you want somebody to do is to click on a link and them to be taken away from your website and to have to use that back button to get back there rather than just close the tab there. So nice job having that set up. Great job exploring custom pages. This is really, really cool. Really cool. Okay, let's check out your about page. We got like a minute left. Nice. Okay, commercial editorial headshot PR photographer based in Edinburgh, covering glass cut. Really nice. And this is, again, talking about being an editorial headshot photographer. Having a really strong headshot, I think, is a must on that. So you've done it here. Nice job on this. Whatever your requirements will be, keep up to date. All right, so right down here, the thing I enjoy most about being a photographer is the people you meet whilst on assignment. There are no 2 days the same. So you're giving us a little bit of personal insight. And this is one of the things that I always love to see on about pages, right? Once we've seen your images, once we've said, okay, this photographer creates the type of work that we're looking for. The second thing is, are we going to like working with this photographer? Are they going to be fun to work with? Are we going to get along? Do we feel some kind of connection? It has been proven time and time again. There's lots of market research that you can look at. People are far more likely to hire somebody if they feel like they have a personal connection to them. You can do some research on that. And this is the page where you do that, is you kind of build that connection of them thinking, oh man, they like this, and they maybe talk about the shows that you're in, whatever, just anything to kind of give them a little bit of some personal insight into you. We are out of time, but I do want to see the contact page in the blog really quick. So I'm going to click ahead. That is the built-in one. Nice job there. Let's check out your blog. All right, October 2nd, 2020, September. Nice job on the blog. Nice job keeping it up to date. Great job, Ian. Love the site. I think you did a great job setting it up. My biggest thing is the navigation. So maybe bringing in that navigation to where it's a little bit more digestible. And then maybe adding some extra pages, right? Some extra portfolio where you can cast out that bigger net and hopefully bring in more traffic. But beautiful site, beautiful images. Love the attention to detail with the colors and all of that throughout it. I think you've done a great job. All right, you guys, I'm going to have Dennis come on here, say hi to you guys for a few seconds while I sneak away, grab a sip of tea, because my voice gets a little tired sometimes after talking for an hour straight, and you guys probably get a little tired of listening to it. So I'm going to have Dennis jump on here, say hi to you guys. I'm going to grab some tea. When I come back, we're going to be doing the site review from one of you guys hanging out with us live. So if you haven't submitted your site yet, you've still got a few seconds to do that. That link is in the chat. When I come back, we'll be reviewing, and that'll be the final site review for Site Review Tuesday, unfortunately. But Dennis is going to jump on here, and I'll be right back.
Cool. Thanks, Robert. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. I'm Dennis with Zenfolio Customer Success, and welcome, and thank you all, everyone, for hanging out with us for what will be our final Site Review Tuesday. But if you do appreciate website reviews, then please register to receive email reminders to join us for Zenfolio Live each Thursday. So we'll be incorporating site reviews into Zenfolio Live. So check us out Thursdays for that. Also on Zenfolio YouTube channel, you'll find details on our group trainings for both basic and advanced selling instruction. So if you feel you can benefit from that, please join one of those group trainings. And also, before I hand it back to Robert, register to join us next week for our first ever Wide Angle Wednesday, where we'll be talking all things photography. So check in with us for that. Our first episode there We'll have special guests and members of the Zenfolio team discussing must-have photography gear. So that should be really fun. You can, again, register for that in the descriptions of the Zenfolio YouTube channel. So go ahead, do that. And yeah, thanks again, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Back to you, Robert.
All right, thanks, Dennis. And just a quick correction, that Wide Angle Wednesday is actually tomorrow, you guys, tomorrow. So Dennis, I don't know if he was aware, because again, this was kind of a last minute thing for him, but it is tomorrow, and that starts at 2 p.m. and that'll be over on our Facebook page. I'm sure you guys have seen some stuff about it. If you haven't registered for it yet, you can definitely register. That link's been thrown in the chat a couple of times. If you guys need me to throw the link out again in chat, we can do that. I do want to answer one question that I saw. Somebody asked, how am I going to keep you updated on when these site reviews are happening? So if you register for Zenfolio Live, those links are all in the description of the video in YouTube, and we can throw those links out again for you guys in Zoom. If you register for Zenfolio Live, we'll definitely let you know when a site review is coming up on Zenfolio Live. Also, just keep an eye on our Facebook page and make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. And the other place to check is as well is the zenfolio.com/community/events. That's probably the best place. If you guys haven't bookmarked that page yet, definitely go bookmark it. All of our upcoming live streams, our group trainings, like everything is there. And there is a lot of stuff there that you guys probably don't even know that we do. All free training to help you guys be more successful here on Zenfolio. So if you want one place to go to keep up with what's going on, definitely the community events page. And again, that's zenfolio.com/community. Okay, time for the final site review of Site Review Tuesday. Again, as I said before, I do want to thank you guys all for hanging out with us week after week. Everybody who submitted sites. If your site did not get reviewed, it was nothing personal. None of the sites were gone through and like kicked out or anything like that, unless they were not working or something like that. And all the reviews that we've done have been not handpicked, randomly chosen by the randomly numbers assigned and then the numbers that you guys throw out in the chat audience. Okay. The live chat audience site that got chosen for review today is going to be Stephanie Valdez Photography.com. So let me say that again because I wasn't even looking at my mic when I said that. Stephanie Valdez Photography.com. I'm going to go ahead, get my screen share back up. And guys, I got to remember from now on when I'm live streaming, 2 shirts is a bad idea. Even though it starts out being cold, I get really hot when I live stream. So I have like my sleeves rolled up. It's getting a little warm in here. But let me go ahead and get my screen share turned on. I'll share this link out with you guys on chat as well. Let me get this turned on here. And I'll throw the link out for you guys. Here you go on YouTube chat. And for you guys on Zoom, let me get this link out here. Okay. And again, tomorrow is Wide Angle Wednesday on our Facebook page. That's going to start at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on Zenfolio's Facebook page. So make sure you follow it. It is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have Laura Greer. You guys should know who all these people are. Laura Greer, Evan Chung, and Jeff Cable, all who have been guests with me on Zenfolio Live. Amazing photographers, wonderful, fun people to have on the show and to engage and talk with. And then we're going to have John O from our customer support team on there as well. We're all going to be talking about gear. We're going to be throwing questions about each person's going to have 2 minutes to answer. It's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely come join us for that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get 15 minutes up on the review clock for this site review. Let me just bring the clock right up here and we'll get this going. Last site review of Site Review Tuesday going out to Stephanie Valdez Photography. All right. Okay, so starting right over here, we've got Stephanie Valdez Photography. I think I threw the link out to you guys already in chat. Just to kind of bring this down, a couple of things I want to show you guys right up here. Let's go check out the, anytime I move things, I have to re-click. Let's check out the up here. So one of the things you can definitely do up here, Stephanie, is go back to your website title. That's going to be found under your account information and then look for search engine optimization. Definitely add some information into your website title. It doesn't really matter as far as what's showing up here. That's not what we care about, but this website title shows up on Google search results, and that's what we care about, right? So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, when you go to Google and you search for anything, those bold headings that you see above every listing that pops up, that is the website title. And right now, your website title says Stephanie Valdez Photography. So here's your homework for that, Stephanie. I want you to go to your browser. If you're using Google Chrome, go in a new incognito browser and do a search for a photographer that one of your potential clients would be searching for, whether it's wedding photographer and blah, 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 wedding photographer in Plainview, Texas. Do a search for that. Go down and look at the results that show up. Pay attention to what is written in the bold. That is the title. And then the website description is what is written in the text underneath that. So pay attention to those things. And that's the kind of stuff that you want to have in there. Okay. All right, let's bring this back up and let's talk a little bit about this. So this looks like it's kind of the display name. I did see that you had a logo up here, but I'm not seeing it here on your homepage. So just not sure if maybe you just haven't got it uploaded yet, if you're not settled on a logo, but definitely something that you want to do is get that custom logo up here in your site header. That is going to just give your site more of a customized feel to it. But let's keep going down here. So we have homepage, client access, blog, about, contact, and galleries. Okay, so I want to talk about site navigation for a second, okay? And the purpose of your site. Whenever you create a website, 9 times out of 10, the purpose of a website is usually for client acquisition. That is what I recommend that you view your website as. This is a place where you're going to be directing people maybe through your business cards or through word of mouth. If friends are like, hey, I know a really great photographer. Here's her website. This is where you're going to be directing people for client acquisition. Because that's the most important thing for businesses, right? Is to get new clients and then to service your existing clients. Get new clients, service existing clients. And so thinking about that, the page that you have for your potential clients is actually the very last one on the site menu. So somebody who's never interacted with you with your business before, never looked at your website, has just maybe come across it on search results or maybe through a business card or something like that, are now seeing homepage link, which is going to just take them. Okay, well, this goes to homepage photo samples. That's a little confusing. It's going to take them here. Then they're going to see client access. Okay. And I mean, this is a cool client access page, but they're going to be wondering, well, if I'm not a client, what do I do here? They're going to go blog. Galleries is the last one on the list. Okay. And we want to think about servicing those potential clients first, because again, if it's a client, you've already interacted with them. You've already maybe done the shoot, hopefully. And so their service on your site is not secondary in importance, but you have had the time to interact with them and say, hey, I'm going to upload your photos. You need to go to my website, and then you'll see where it says client access on the far right. Okay. So clients, again, are kind of the secondary focus of your website. Potential clients, client acquisition being the first focus. And you want to think about how can you design your website to be client acquisition focused? Well, that is by presenting the things that you want those potential clients to see first and making sure that it's as easy as possible for them to navigate too. Okay. So just going back to this, probably what I would recommend is I would recommend retitling this portfolio, because these look like they are not galleries to browse through for like fine art photography or something like that. This looks like it's more portfolio work of examples of photography that you do that you're for hire for. So I would probably consider retitling that portfolios and moving that drop down to be number one. Okay. So number one, that's what I would do. That's the first thing that I would do, is get that up here. Now you have some beautiful image here on the homepage, just absolutely lovely photos. I love that you're utilizing the welcome message right here to talk about the type of photography you do, where you're based out of. Great use of all of that. The about message, you have an about page. I would probably honestly turn this off. It is just kind of awkward that all of a sudden there's an about message. And really, we don't want people spending a lot of time on the homepage, right? The homepage is where you want to do a couple of things and you want to do it really quick. First of all, you want to wow them with the images that are here. So you want to make sure that these are the very best and very hand-picked images that you have. And you have some gorgeous images here. There does seem to be quite a few images, but there are absolutely beautiful. But you want to wow them with those images. You want to answer the question of, yes, they do the type of, or yes, you do the type of photography that they're looking for, and you service the area that they're located in. That is what you want your homepage to do, and then you want them to progress forward. So when you think about that, think about, how can I set up my homepage to answer those questions as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and move that potential client into the next phase that I want them to be in, which is to then further look at my work to really kind of hook them in and get them to potentially reach out to me and contact me about booking a session. So something to think about. Okay. So, but let's follow this the way that you have it set up. So we click on homepage, which is a little odd because when we go to your website, kind of stephanievaldezphotography.com, then when we go to there, we kind of assume that we are on the homepage. And so then we see this option that says homepage, and we click here, and now we're taken into a gallery. Now I know this is the gallery that you're using as the example images of your homepage. So I kind of understand that, but this is probably not the way that you wanted it to kind of work and set up. Now, if it is, then you might want to rename that to say portfolio or something like that. Because right now, if I'm a visitor, I am a little confused as to what's going on in here. Okay, so something to think about there. Next, client access. Again, I would probably have that towards the end. You've already had a chance to interact with clients. You have the opportunity to explain how your website works. Right? You're doing that shoot, you're emailing back and forth with them, and you're like, hey, Your galleries are ready. All you need to do is go to my website and click on client access on the far right, and then enter your client access code to be taken to your gallery. So that stuff needs to go over here. Blog, let's check out your blog really quick and take a look. All right. My first blog, why not? Can't wait to share on this page. Okay, so a couple of things. This blog, we definitely want to get this removed. I think the first time I wrote a blog, it was like red on fire with all the underlined misspellings. But let's see. So first of all, it was March 11th, 2016, and there hasn't been a blog post since. I'll be honest with you, I am not a blogger either. I really can't seem to force myself to sit down and find the time to actually write up blogs. It is super good for your SEO, and definitely something that you want to feature if you're going to keep up on it. But it's not something that people are going to be like, oh, well, she doesn't have a blog. Why not? So like if you're not going to blog at least once a month, I would remove the blog and not worry about it. Maybe later on down the line, after you kind of get your site set up and you're like, okay, well, I see where maybe I could carve out some time to write a blog post up once a week. You could definitely re-add it back in. But for now, thinking about, again, I always try to do these site reviews from a potential client's perspective or a visitor's perspective who's never interacted with you. All right. And this is their first interaction with you, other than maybe you handing them their business card or getting a referral from a friend or something like that. And so they've landed on your homepage. They clicked on homepage, which kind of took us to a little bit of a confusing place. They clicked on client access and they don't really know what to do on client access because, again, they've never interacted with you. And then the next thing that they do is they look at blog, and this is what they see. One post from 2016, and that's it. So just put yourselves in that visitor's perspective. Put yourself into thinking, if this was a service that I was looking to hire, what kind of impression am I getting from this website and this stuff right now? And just think about that and think about the things that you might want to start changing and rethinking and focusing on, and updating and modifying to kind of change that impression from being what it is now to what you want it to be, which is what you want the impression to be is, wow, she does some beautiful photos. She does the exact type of photography that I'm looking for. I love her style. And also she seems like a really cool person. I want to reach out and contact her and talk about booking a shoot with her. That's the impression that you want. Right now, I'm kind of left wondering what Stephanie's been up to since 2016 and where I need to go to see some examples of your work other than that homepage. Okay, let's click on your about page. All right. Nice about photo though. Love this right here. So I am for newborn, maternity, wedding, and engagement. Easygoing person. I'm open to new ideas when I work to bring you the best quality they can. I also like to have fun in my sessions. So feel free to share your vision with me and I will do what I can to achieve it. So I think this is great. I love that you have a photo of you and your family here, a beautiful image. I think this is a great start to an about message. You could definitely share a little bit more personal insight, maybe some of the things that you're in, what a typical session is going to be like. Maybe you talk about some specific locations that you like to shoot. Some of my favorite locations to shoot family portraits are here because of the fun atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. Just some things that you can give us some personal insight to. But I think this is fine. Let's go check out your contact really quick. And so we have contact info and message me. So this is curious. I've never seen this before. Let's take a look really quick. So here's your contact information. This looks like a custom page. And then if we go to message me, this takes us to your contact page. So you can definitely combine this contact information over here. That information gets pulled from the contact information that you put into your account. So if you go to account, you go to like info, or something like that, there's a contact info page, and whatever information you put in there will show up on that contact page, which is this page right here. And so that way you don't have to have those two separate pages for somebody to hover over and click on. Your contact information would show right over here. And then they could also use the form to send you a message. So something to think about there. How can you simplify that and set it up that way? Okay. Let's go check out your galleries really quick. So let's go to weddings. All right. And so a couple of things here. We have wedding galleries up here. Again, thinking about the way that we title our galleries, the title matters, right? So you could put wedding gallery, photography portfolio, wedding portfolio, and then whatever Texas. I can't remember what town it was or what city it was in Texas. So Texas portfolio or something like that. And then just utilizing the gallery captions, right? Some of my favorite venues to photograph weddings. Some of my favorite. Think about things that people who are hiring wedding photographers are searching for other than just wedding photographers, right? They're searching for venues, they're searching for hair salons, they're searching for clothing, tux rentals, they're searching for all those kinds of things. And so you could add some information in here, right? So now your website is not only showing your portfolio, but you're also providing a service of suggesting other service professionals as well. So you're kind of adding value to this. And the thing about that is that when you do that in that caption, maybe you do that and you work with some of these people that you're suggesting and mentioning, and you let them know, hey, I have a wedding portfolio. I'm a wedding photographer. I've heard a lot of good things about your salon. I've heard a lot of good things about your catering. And what I would like to do is I'd actually like to kind of link to you from my website. And would you mind linking back to me from yours, and maybe we can get some cross promotion going? And so that is going to be very, very helpful for your SEO, but not just that. It's also going to be very beneficial to your clients as well. And that kind of networking is super beneficial. So that's kind of stuff you can do with the caption. There's a lot of extra things up here. So a couple of things to think about: is somebody going to buy somebody else's wedding photo? Chances are that was probably turned on by accident because there was a price list applied to the gallery. So something to think about there. But just some things to think about. I know we're running out of time here. Let's go down. And there are lots of images in your portfolio, and then we're missing categories and keywords down here as well. So I would definitely think about going back and culling your images as well. It looks like you have a lot of the same kind of shots. So kind of go through, gather up. This is one of the things where I think it's kind of easy to design a wedding portfolio, because if you think about it, what you could do is you could really design your wedding portfolio to share or show the story of a wedding day as you capture it through images from different weddings that you photographed. Meaning, pick out your best getting ready photos and start it up here. Then go through your best people arriving at the ceremony or things like that. So build your portfolio to tell a story out of the images that you've captured, and then make sure that you're choosing your best 10 to 20 images at the most for your portfolio. I know I'm out of time. I want to click on one more just to see what this seniors looks like. So we have some password protected images. So definitely you need to curate a seniors portfolio gallery and not pull it from existing client galleries. If you're going to do that, you need to copy the images over and not just link to a seniors folder where you have client groups in here. That way people actually have galleries that they can access and look at. So there's a video series that I would recommend that you go check out. It's Building Your Portfolio on Zenfolio. It's a live stream series that I did a while back, but it's got a lot of good information. So definitely go check that out on the YouTube channel. Stephanie, thank you so much for submitting your site, for hanging out with us. Hopefully I gave you some good advice, some good pointers, some good tips, some things to think about. And unfortunately, you guys, we are out of time, but I do want to say again, thank you guys so much to all of you guys who hung out with us for Site Review Tuesday, week after week. Lynn, Carl Jones, 410 Aerial Photography, Corey Woods, Michael B., Stephanie Valdez, everybody else who's hanging out with us today over on YouTube, George Hunter, Janet Stewart, all of you guys, and Robert DeSosa. Thank you guys. If you're still hanging out with us on Zoom, Eduardo, Brandy, James, Paris, Stan, all of you guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Again, this is not goodbye to site reviews, okay? We're still going to be doing site reviews. It's just going to be more of like a once a month basis rather than once a week. But again, I do want to say thank you guys to everybody who submitted their sites over the past couple of months. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And don't forget, tomorrow, Wide Angle Wednesday, again on our Facebook page, that starts at 2 p.m. Make sure that you go register for that. And then on Thursday on our YouTube channel, Zenfolio Live, starting at 2 p.m., Lou Freeman, we're going to talk about evolving your business while staying true to yourself. Thank you guys again so much. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Hopefully, I'll be seeing all of you guys tomorrow or Thursday. If not, make sure that you go do something good for somebody today, tomorrow, and the day after that. You lift somebody up, you encourage somebody. We work together to make this world a better place because it could really, really use it right now. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.